Hi everyone, I am Claudia Soriano and I'm going to help you solve one of the biggest mysteries of our lives. Module 3, Handling Pressure at the Workplace. We've all had instances of where the pressure at work and the boss's expectations are imbalanced. In this module, we have provided you with tips on how to handle workplace pressures, how to avoid choking under pressure. Many of us get overwhelmed and choke when the pressure becomes too much. Here are some tips that can help you actualize the goals and ease the anxiety that you are facing when it comes to getting work done. One surefire way to deal with the issues is to try and close the gap between practice and competition. This means practice doing work under stress. This gets you acclimatized to the stress levels and gets you focused and zoned in. Moreover, don't dwell on the performance. Change the outcome. See your failures as a chance to learn, grow, and perform better. Dwelling on past mistakes leads to stress-induced anxiety, which isn't good for work motivation. So try and not dwell on the past. Focus on the outcome. Look at the goals. Focusing on your outcomes, goals, helps you become oriented and focused. Lastly, write it out your work. Writing out work deadlines and itemizing them helps reduce stress and increases working memory, like a mental cheat sheet. Handling a tough boss. When handling a harsh-to-tackle boss, bring solutions, not questions. No boss wants you to come into their office asking questions on how to handle the next steps. They want you to be the person who has solutions to help them achieve their goals. If you constantly come into their office detracting from that priority, it tends to present problems. This also doesn't mean you need to have all the answers, but prepare a list of solutions you think would work. Next, prepare ahead of time. Be ahead of the game. Being one step ahead of what your boss is working on and knowing his or her priorities will make the process of dealing with them easier. Come prepared with informal reports on their projects, statuses on work, and important deadlines they should know. Be confident in your mess-ups. If you do mess up, seek to fix it. Use your problem-solving skills to deal with the outcomes of your mistakes. No boss wants to end up dealing with your mistakes, which deters them from doing their job. Determine what you should gain. Having a good boss benefits you in helping you become more goal-oriented and be prepared. These kinds of bosses help you assess what makes a good manager and helps you become aware of how to manage people and see how they fit into your style of doing things. Dealing with unrealistic expectations from your boss. We have experienced that time where we have had a boss gives us work that's too hard to finish over a given deadline. This makes it harder for us to do the work because we stress over details and not the content. Here are some guidelines on how to deal with the unrealistic expectations of work. First, double-check the work presented to you. Make sure the work is reasonable to do and has a reasonable time frame. Good managers will try to push and stretch you beyond your comfort zone, albeit not giving complex tasks that cannot be done with efficiently. If your boss is pushing you to do too much or you're overwhelmed, first ask yourself why. If you discover the real reason behind it is your anxiety, give yourself a chance to take your best shot. Another option would be to consult your coworkers. They may have more expertise or experience in such matters and may have great tips that can benefit you. Use them as a resource to help you alleviate the stress of the workload. See how they deal with the issues at hand and evolve using their techniques. Next, make a list of things of how your manager isn't helping you along your career path. Write down everything that's on your plate and look at the demands that are unreasonable and see why you're feeling challenged. For example, is the time considerate enough for me to get the work done? Make a list of everything you are currently working on and how it impacts you. This will help you get a better picture of what you're doing and see your workload in its entirety. This will give you direction as to how to approach the work. Lastly, think after attempting to do the work. You see it as being unproductive and harder than expected. Confront your boss. Do it early. Tell your boss about the problem before the problem becomes worse. A problem is easier to deal with earlier than later. Be confident when you speak. This assures your boss you are addressing your concerns with experience and not insecurity. Lastly, have a plan. Seek out alternatives and solutions. You can suggest having other coworkers help in the work who have more experience. And additionally, you can ask to extend the deadline so that the work can be done and it's quality work that can be presented. By the end of this module, you should be able to recognize different methods which you can utilize to deal with stress. You should have the skills to deal with a boss that has high standards for you and how to not choke under pressure.